Mars was named by the ancient Romans for their god of war because its reddish color was reminiscent of blood. Other civilizations also named the planet for this attribute. For example, the Egyptians called it Herdishir, meaning the red one. Even today, it is frequently called the red planet because iron minerals in the Martian dirt oxidize, or rust, causing the surface to look red. No planet beyond Earth has been studied as intensely as Mars. Recorded observations of Mars date as far back as the era of ancient Egypt over 4,000 years ago, when they charted the planet's movements in the sky. Today, a science fleet of robotic spacecraft study Mars from all angles. 6 spacecraft are in orbit at Mars. NASA's Science trio are Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, Mars Odyssey, and Maven. ESA managed the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter and Mars Express missions. India's first red planet spacecraft, the Mars Orbiter mission, since 2014. 2 robotic spacecraft are at work on the surface. NASA's Curiosity rover is exploring Mount Sharp in Gale Crater. NASA's InSight, a stationary lander, is probing Mars' interior from a site on a flat smooth plain called Elysium Planitia. Both NASA and ESA have plans to send new rovers to Mars in 2020. With a radius of 2,106 miles, Mars is about half the size of Earth. From an average distance of 142 million miles, Mars is 1.5 astronomical units away from the Sun. 1 astronomical unit is the distance from the Sun to Earth. From this distance, it takes sunlight 13 minutes to travel from the Sun to Mars. As Mars orbits the Sun, it completes 1 rotation every 24.6 hours, which is very similar to 1 day on Earth, 23.9 hours. Martian days are called sols, short for solar day. A year on Mars lasts 669.6 sols, which is the same as 687 Earth days. Mars' axis of rotation is tilted 25 degrees with respect to the plane of its orbit around the Sun. This is another similarity with Earth, which has an axial tilt of 23.4 degrees. Like Earth, Mars has distinct seasons, but they last longer than seasons here on Earth since Mars takes longer to orbit the Sun, because it's farther away. And while here on Earth the seasons are evenly spread over the year, lasting 3 months, or 1/4 of a year, on Mars the seasons vary in length because of Mars' elliptical, egg-shaped orbit around the Sun. Spring in the northern hemisphere, autumn in the southern, is the longest season at 194 sols. Autumn in the northern hemisphere, spring in the southern, is the shortest at 142 days. Northern winter/southern summer is 154 sols, and northern summer/southern winter is 178 sols. Mars has a dense core at its center between 930 and 1,300 miles in radius. It's made of iron, nickel, and sulfur. Surrounding the core is a rocky mantle between 770 and 1,170 miles thick made of magnesium iron silicate, and above that, a crust made of iron, magnesium, aluminum, calcium, and potassium. This crust is between 6 and 30 miles deep. The red planet is actually many colors. At the surface we see colors such as brown, gold, and tan. The reason Mars looks reddish is due to oxidization or rusting of iron in the rocks, regolith, Martian soil, and dust of Mars. This dust gets kicked up into the atmosphere and from a distance makes the planet appear mostly red. Mars is home to the largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons. It's 3 times taller than Earth's Mt. Everest with a base the size of the state of New Mexico. Mars appears to have had a watery past, with ancient river-valley networks, deltas, and lake beds, as well as rocks and minerals on the surface that could only have formed in liquid water. There is water on Mars today, but the Martian atmosphere is too thin for liquid water to exist for long on the surface. Today, water on Mars is found in the form of water ice just under the surface in the polar regions as well as in briny, salty, water, which seasonally flows down some hillsides and crater walls. Mars has a thin atmosphere made up mostly of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and argon gases. To our eyes, the sky would be hazy and red because of suspended dust instead of the familiar blue tint we see on Earth. Mars' sparse atmosphere doesn't offer much protection from impacts by such objects as meteorites, asteroids, and comets. The temperature on Mars can be as high as 20 degrees Celsius, or as low as about -153 degrees Celsius. And because the atmosphere is so thin, heat from the Sun easily escapes this planet. If you were to stand on the surface of Mars on the equator at noon, it would feel like spring at your feet 24 degrees Celsius, and winter at your head 0 degrees Celsius. Mars has no global magnetic field today, but areas of the Martian crust in the southern hemisphere are highly magnetized, indicating traces of a magnetic field from 4 billion years ago. Mars has 2 small moons, Phobos and Deimos, and has no rings. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.